Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yu-Gi-Oh! Everything, and happy Halloween. Okay, I know I'm a few days late. I know this is probably coming out like November 1st or 2nd. Let me get that wig off. I don't know how you cosplayers do it. So much props to you. But no, and all kidding aside, happy Halloween. I know I'm a little late. I wanted to do a Halloween themed video. Unfortunately, real life kind of held me up, so I wasn't able to get it out on Halloween. But I didn't really know what video I wanted to do. I thought maybe like the creepiest card designs, but there have been so many videos that have been done by various different Yu-Gi tubers doing the creepiest card designs. So then I thought, let me do like the top 10 creepiest characters. No one's really done that, but I've done top 10 antagonists. I've done top 10 darkest moments. I did a video where I went over things that were changed from the anime to the manga because the manga was a little too dark. So there would have been a lot of overlapping if I did that because a lot of the creepy characters are villains. And so I didn't really want to do that. So I decided instead to do the top 5 creepiest one-shot characters that we have seen from Duel Monsters all the way through Vrains. If you're not familiar with what a one-shot character is, it's basically a character that shows up for a duel, shows up for an episode, and then after that duel ends, they are gone. They are nowhere to be seen ever again. So Strings from the original Yu-Gi-Oh, for example, would be a one-shot character. He showed up in Battle City, dueled Yugi, never heard from again. And this was a tough list to do, which is why it's a top 5 and not a top 10, because it's tough to find one-shot characters that were kind of on the evil side and were creepy. A lot of times one-shot characters are more comedic relief. They're more determined kind of characters. They're not really creepy characters. So it was tough to just find 5 characters, even throughout all of the shows, that are creepy-ish. And so hopefully I put together a pretty good Halloween list for you guys. So without further ado, let's begin. I hope you guys leave your thoughts down below, and I hope you enjoy my top 5 creepiest one-off characters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you enjoy the video. Kicking off this list is a character from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and that is Alice, who duels Judai or Jaden in the dub in episode 80 during season 2 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Now, this might just be a personal one for me. It's funny because, like, clowns don't bother me at all, but there's something about dolls that just creeps me out, and that is exactly what Alice is. She is the spirit of a doll possessed by her doll chimera card. Alice introduces herself as a transfer student and seems to be a really nice girl, but you can tell that there is something off with her, and that is made more apparent when she lures Bastion and Kenzin out to the woods and renders them unconscious. Judai goes looking for them and finds Bastion. He wakes Bastion up, but Bastion has no recollection of how he got to the woods. We then see Alice walking on water, and that's when we know something is very supernatural about her. We then see her demeanor completely change, and she gets these really creepy, almost like devilish dead eyes, telling Judai that once he loses this duel, he will wander in despair for eternity. Her whole deck gives me the creeps, especially her disturbing Doll Chimera Ace Monster. Once Judai destroys Doll Chimera and wins the duel, Alice thanks him as he has set her free from the dark curse that the card inflicted on her. We then see at the end that Alice was a doll all along and had escaped from its container, a classic horror movie trope. Again, Alice might not have creeped out people who aren't bothered by dolls, but as someone who gets easily creeped out by them, I always found her to be a very creepy character, and I always found this episode to be a very creepy episode. This is the only episode Alice has ever seen or mentioned in, I believe, making her one of the creepiest one-shot characters that we have had in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Coming in fourth is a character from Yu-Gi-Oh! 5Ds, and that is Professor Frank. Professor Frank duels Ruka or Luna in the dub during the first season of 5Ds. While not initially seeming like the most evil of characters, there was always something about him that really creeped me out. During this duel, he is able to hypnotize Ruka and enter the Duel Monster's spirit world. He started out as seemingly normalish, speaking in a very calm manner, while working his way into Ruka's mind. Okay, even that sentence just sounds creepy as hell, and watching it unfold on screen was uncomfortable to say the least. That calm speaking demeanor changes as the duel progresses, and once Frank is able to enter the spirit world, we see just how insane the man actually is. The dude becomes completely unhinged as the battle in the spirit world continues. He talks about how he just wants to see Ruka, one of the most innocent characters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, along with the spirits of the spirit world, in complete agony and suffering. Right before Frank gets killed by Ancient Fairy Dragon, Ruka desperately forces the duel to end in a draw, removing both of them from the spirit world. Even when Frank was about to get seriously seriously hurt, the guy was still laughing like a lunatic. I think the fact that Frank was doing this again to such an innocent character in Ruka made it that much worse, but he low-key was one of the creepiest characters in the show. Thankfully, his attempts to destroy the spirit world were in vain. The last shot we see of him is standing up, kind of lifeless, as Yusei carries Ruka away from the scene of the battle. Professor Frank is never shown or mentioned again, making him one of the creepiest one-off characters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, let alone 5Ds. Coming in third on this list is Pandora, or Arcana in the dub, from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Monsters. Now, I know I have talked about Pandora and the duel between him and Yugi so much on this channel. It's a duel that has one of the darkest stipulations any Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel has ever had. The duel is a bit different, mainly the ending between the anime and the original manga. But for as much as I've talked about this duel already, I couldn't overlook putting Pandora on this list. As I tend to often forget, he is a one-shot character who only appears during this duel and then extremely briefly in Season 4, but only as a spirit for a 2-second cameo. Pandora is the second of Marik's rare hunters and duels Yugi during the Battle City arc. He immediately shows us all just how unhinged he is when he chains himself and Yugi to the wall and deploys chainsaws that will slice off their legs once their life points hit 0. Pandora, being the magician that he is, tries to cheat by marking his deck, but Yugi's card destruction spell card immediately foils Pandora's early plans. As the duel goes on, we learn how obsessed Pandora is with getting his ex-love back, which he believes Marik has found and will give him if he is able to defeat Yugi. Pandora goes on to sacrifice his own Dark Magician's soul with the Ectoplasmer spell card without any hesitation whatsoever, which shows just how little he cares about anything except himself. He also wins the award for having one of the most evil, creepy laughs in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, the duel ends thanks to Yugi using Pandora's own spell, Dark Magic Curtain, to summon Dark Magician Girl, which is the endgame for Pandora. We finally see how truly insane he is when he goes to his quote-unquote ex-lover and acts like it's truly her, even though we as the viewer can tell it's just a fake mannequin. Pandora is unable to tell the difference, as his mind has completely disintegrated at this point. He really is a creepy character, one of the creepiest one-off characters in all of Yu-Gi-Oh!, and is good for third on this list. Taking the runner-up spot is a one-shot villain from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX, and that is DD, or The D in the English dub. I love calling him The D, so we are going to stick with that name for the duration of this video. The D actually plays a major role towards the end of Season 2. Now, the D did duel twice, episodes 97 and 98, but since they were so quickly back-to-back and he was never seen again after he lost to Edo, I figured he was eligible for this list. The D has two different personalities, one where he is kind of normal, and one where he goes completely insane thanks to the Light of Destruction. The fact that he had these dual personalities give him the qualifications for starring in any sort of horror movie. He truly is terrifying when the Light of Destruction completely takes him over, but before we get to that, he is the character that is responsible for Edo's father's death. He then brags to Edo about killing his father and why he adopted Edo before their duel begins. Doing that already qualifies him as one of the more heartless, twisted villains in Yu-Gi-Oh! When the D plays Destiny Hero Blue D or Destiny Hero Plasma, you can see the souls of the dead characters that the D has killed, including Edo's father, which he uses to further taunt Edo. The D is truly a horrific person. After Edo goes on to defeat Blood D and learns about the Light of Destruction's true intentions, we see the D yelling that he is a hero and he is the chosen one as flames engulf his body and kill him. A fitting end for a truly disturbed human being. Even though the D's screen time was very limited, he absolutely makes a creepy and messed up presence, which is good for being the second creepiest one-shot character in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Before I get to my number one, I do want to go over two quick honorable mentions that almost made this list. They're both from the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Panic, who appeared during the Duelist Kingdom arc when he dueled Mai and then dueled Yugi. That duel was very creepy. Panic was always a very creepy character, but a lot of it was more of an act and a persona, so Panic just missed out on this list. And another character that was aesthetically creepy, Strings. Strings was another one of Marik's rare hunters, just like Pandora was, but Strings didn't really do enough in terms of verbalness, especially because a lot of it was just Marik talking through him, but aesthetically wise, he is one of the creepiest looking dudes you will ever find in Yu-Gi-Oh! Both one-off characters, and both characters that almost made this list for me. So taking the top spot as the creepiest one-off character in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the dual spirit Jinzo. Not the Jinzo that Lecter was being in the Season 3 Noah's Ark, not the dual monster Jinzo, but the dual spirit Jinzo during the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Man, GX really had some episodes that had to have been loosely based off of generic horror movie plots. Episode 14 of Yu-Gi-Oh! GX is the most closely related Yu-Gi-Oh! Episode we will probably ever get to that of a horror movie. The episode starts out by telling us that most of the students and staff on Duel Academy Island have gone home for winter vacation. We then find out that Judai, Sho, or Cyrus in the dub, and Chumley, along with Professor Banner, have stayed behind to hang out and practice their dueling. We then find out that 3 goofs at the Obelisk Blue Dorm tried to summon the dual spirit Jinzo. The group calls themselves the Takadera Occult Brothers and uses a legit Ouija board in an attempt to summon him. Jinzo states that he needs 3 sacrifices, which the 3 boys mistake for card sacrifices. Unfortunately for them, Jinzo meant human sacrifices. Tori, the apparent leader of the trio, finds Judai and the others to let them know that Jinzo needs a 3rd human sacrifice to be free in the human world, and he fears that he is that 3rd human sacrifice since the other 2 occult brothers have vanished. Jinzo ends up appearing out of nowhere and captures Tori, running off to an electrical transmission field. Judai then ends up dueling Jinzo, and even though Jinzo looks like he's going to win on multiple occasions, Judai ends up winning, banishes Jinzo back to the spirit world, and saves the 3 who so dumbly summoned him. These are the types of episodes that made GX so fun, and I had to put Jinzo number 1 because the dude was literally accidentally summoned during a ritual performed by teenagers using a Ouija board. I mean, it genuinely does not get any creepier and more horror cliche than that. The dual spirit Jinzo is never seen or heard from again, making him, in my opinion, the creepiest one-shot character that we have seen in all of Yu-Gi-Oh! And that about wraps it up. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I know it was a little late. I wanted to get it out on Halloween, got it out a couple days later, and hopefully you still enjoyed the video. Please leave all your thoughts on this topic down below. It's actually a really hard topic. As I stated at the top of the video, it was hard to just come up with 5 characters that I felt were creepy enough to make this list, because a lot of times one-shot, one-off characters, they're not really creepy or evil. They're more comedic relief or determined. They're not really, again, creepy. So it was hard to come up with characters for this list, but please let me know what you think of my list and leave your thoughts down below. A special thank you to my Platinum tier patrons Alexa Baker, Glen McGookin, Jorge Carrillo, James Rose, and Omni Lord, and to my Diamond tier patrons Bouldergeist, Odd Eyes Vaughn, and Jesse Wood, and to my Egyptian God tier patron Syn Cloud. Huge thank you to all the new patrons for November, and a huge thank you to everyone who has just supported me in some way on Patreon. Cannot tell you how much I really do appreciate it, and a huge thank you to everyone who just watches these videos, because without you guys, I would not be able to do this. So I hope you guys had a great Halloween. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. I will talk to you down below. Check out my channel for more Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime content. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.